All right, Silksong, I can't wait to try. Oh my god, how?
What you doing? Where you at? Oh, you got plans? Don't say that. I'm sipping wine.
So Silksong is the game that a lot of people have been praying for since news of this game first hit about 6 years ago. Like, dudes were literally counting down every day for even a crumb of news about this game. I mean, that's to be expected with the rousing success of Hollow Knight, and after having played it for a couple of hours, I can see why. Now, most of the footage will be of stuff from Act 1 all the way up to the final boss of this act. If you don't wish to be spoiled on it, then here's the time to go, and thank you for clicking. Now continuing, a game of this quality coming out in 2025 for just $20 is an insane bargain. As an experienced Soul veteran having beaten 9 Souls, I am used to challenging platforming games. But man, this one kind of takes the cake. The first few bosses are kind of a cakewalk, and then you run into this red asshole, and you run into giant rats. These flying pieces of shit too. These annoying flowers and so many pitfalls, man. But again, I play Souls games, so I'm used to this level of abuse, because I can wholeheartedly say that I enjoy playing this game. Every time I pick it up, I find it hard to put down because I get lost in exploring the map and finding these little secrets, looking for Shenmue ringing her little bell, or hearing Chakra sing those dulcet tones. She hit you with that. I can definitely understand how Team Cherry said that this game took so long, because they're just having too much fun during development, as this game definitely feels like a labor of love. The story elements mixed in with this vibrant art style that brings the environments to life. I really just love running around the different maps and taking it all in. When I'm not busy dying. The combat in this game does feel good. While I feel in comparison to a game like 9 Souls, it does not feel as precise in some of its movement mechanics, it still allows for a comfortable flow between the platforming and combat portions of the game. Different abilities and extra weapons that get added as you go along help to offer different changes in how you play the game, making combat feel all the more engaging by experimenting with different build setups, as well as the versatility of Hornet's movements. This game seems to emphasize a lot of well-timed evasion and aggression. The increase in movement abilities that you unlock as the game progresses increases the amount of approaches you have when facing enemies as well, especially when it comes to certain boss fights. Oftentimes there'll be a boss that will require you to utilize the full extent of all your movement abilities in order to defeat them. I really enjoy the different ways each ability can be utilized depending on the boss you're facing. But speaking of bosses, oh crap, she fell into the magma. She just hopped out of it. This game is pretty good, bro. Boss fights in this game are fascinating to me. You can really tell that Team Cherry had a lot of fun crafting some of these bosses. Each one has an engaging gimmick that keeps the player engaged, by pissing them off with dumb hit frames. Like, do you see this fly, bruh? It's on the ground, right? How come when I go to hit it, I take damage? Can you imagine this nonsense happening in any Souls game? Imagine you're fighting like Radon, and I fought this man primarily using staggers. If I went in for a crit and this man somehow one-shotted me, I'll never pick up a Souls game again. In all seriousness, I really do love how varied these boss fights are and how well they tie into the game progression. Most of the bosses in this game will steadily encourage the use of all the upgrades you have gotten through exploring the game, oftentimes making these fights feel similar to Dark Souls fights, in which you gradually learn the patterns for the bosses and respond appropriately after each attempt, unless you find an overpowering tool and just start blasting through them. The designs of the bosses are also interesting and cool. Like, one of the most annoying bosses I faced so far is designed after one of the most annoying insects I can think of. Also explains why this thing moves around like it took Compound V and crack at the same time. It's always exciting to see what kind of things will pop up as a boss. Like, before fighting the 4th chorus, you'll literally pass by it on your way to getting the float upgrade. And then afterwards you run back into the same area and it just activates. No initial prompt or anything, it's just there now. I really can't wait to see what more they have to offer in Act 2. Except this area, man. I got spoiled on it early, and honestly, I'm kinda happy I did, because I'm going in fully equipped before I even touch this place. However, in discussing this, I want to go into my final topic, difficulty. Now, difficulty has been a big matter of discussion when it comes to this game. Some folks find this game super easy while others need to take a mental break after experiencing that gang fight with the birds in Farloom. Look man, look, I understand. This game's difficulty can be a bit jarring when coming into it for the first time. But then again, this game was made under the initial pretense of having already played Hollow Knight, and Hollow Knight is considered an easier game in comparison, with the only significant challenges being post-game content. Coming into this game when the literal first enemy is doing 2 masks of health is going to look kind of crazy, especially when the damage is the same for almost everything in the game, including environmental hazards. I definitely can feel the challenge even while still in Act 1. Like, why did Team Cherry make the last Judge explosion actually do damage to you in comparison to every other boss fight I faced in this game? I literally had to redo the whole fight because the devs decided to make that a thing. Also, these locked-room gang fights that occur on every map, they're not all too bad, except for like, maybe 2 of them. The 2 for me were the fire ant one because some of the enemies were really just throwing so much stuff on the screen that I could not for the life of me tell what was happening. Add chocolate to the mix, it looks like I'm watching a small child throw a tantrum. And the one in Farloom, man, these birds, dog. Why does this one have such perfect positioning to always catch with that one random drop it hits while proceeding to spam projectiles? The thing about these gang fights is that they occur a bit too often. You could be wandering around somewhere hoping to reach a rest stop, and all of a sudden, a door locks, you get tense, and then see a swarm of enemies that you've already fought coming at you. Initially, it does add a little bit of tension to the game, but at some point, they become more tedious and fun, because it is simply a rehash of the enemies that you have been fighting in the area for the past few minutes. Only this time, you're in a cramped space with things flying at you from everywhere that always seem to be positioned perfectly to ruin your life. Like, is it just me? Or these guys have some really good positioning? However, Silksong isn't like fighting that duo frog fight in Jedi Survivor on Grandmaster. That shit was rough, man. What I mean to say is that while Silksong can definitely be a punishing game, with a lot of difficulty sometimes feeling like the devs are just trolling, it's also a rewarding experience. The world in this game is meant to be explored. The more you learn and understand about this world, the more assets and tools you have available. The thing that kept me wanting to play this game was that sense of wanderlust, truly becoming lost and exploring this well-crafted and detailed world. I was still dying plenty of times, but I would discover a new location and become enamored once more in trying to find all the secrets hidden in the area. Silksong was truly worth the wait, and I can definitely see why some people call this game of the year. If only Claire Obscure was in the running, but hey, if I'm wrong, more power to you. Anyways, I'm gonna keep silking my song and probably make another video whenever I get to finishing this game. In the meantime, peace. I got more on the way.